Hello, it's Mila from Hacker Russian, and I'm here to help you learn Russian language easy, fast, and with lots of fun. In this video, I will show you how to address people in Russian using Russian TV series and movies. To be exact, you will learn the difference in using pronouns ты and вы and their various forms when you address people in Russian. Are you ready? Поехали!
Екатерина, ты неправильно меня поняла.
There are two forms of the pronoun you in Russian: ты, which is informal singular, and вы, which can be either formal singular or informal plural. When it comes to singular form of you, even Russian people sometimes have difficulties choosing the right form. So, which one to use? When choosing one of these forms, you need to take into account your relationship with a person, as well as his or her position, status, age, and some other important factors.
Прежде всего, как будем, на вы или на ты?
На ты.
На ты? Ну как-то мне неловко, Матвей Николаевич. Как долетел, скажи?
You can use a singular informal pronoun ты to address two friends, family members, acquaintances younger than you or the same age, colleagues not older than you, and children.
Привет, сосед. Я Маша. Помнишь, ты к нам утром заходил? Что-то мы не успели нормально познакомиться. Может, посидим, чайку попьем?
In some contexts, it's more natural to address ты to people of your age or younger, even if you don't know them well. You need to remember that a pronoun ты will be changing depending on its case and the prepositions you use. One of the forms of ты is тебя, and a good example to know is я тебя люблю. You can also use тебя with some prepositions. For example, без, which means without, без тебя, without you. У, which signifies ownership, у тебя, meaning that you have something. От, which means from, от тебя, from you. Another form of ты is тебе, тебе. It can be used separately or with some prepositions. For example, к, which means to, к тебе, to you, о about, о тебе, about you, по, for example, по тебе, пойдем к тебе, let's go to your place, думаю о тебе, I'm thinking about you, скучаю по тебе, I miss you. And another good example without any prepositions is спасибо тебе, thank you. Another form of ты is тобой, тобой, and it can be used either with a preposition or without. С тобой, or without any prepositions. So examples are пойдем с тобой, let's go with you, or горжусь тобой without any prepositions, and it means I am proud of you.
Иван, у меня к вам просьба.
Ой, чё ты ко мне на «вы»? Я тебя на пару лет старше.
Мне сказали, вам 35?
Да. А тебе сколько?
22.
A personal pronoun вы has a dual function. It can be either singular polite and be addressed to strangers, people in authority, service workers, some colleagues, and elderly people. Or it can also be plural neutral and be addressed to several people or a group.
Да вы с ума сошли. Томпсон, как я могу ударить человека? За кого вы меня принимаете?
In this video example, we is used as a singular polite form.
Извините, можно войти? Девочки, вы не против, если я кое-что обсужу с Машей?
In this video example, we is used as a plural neutral form. Both formal and informal pronoun we is changing depending on the case and prepositions you use. One of the forms of we is вас. An example, я вас люблю. I love you. It can also be used with prepositions, for example, без, without, без вас. У signifies ownership, у вас. от, from, от вас. О, about, о вас. Про, which also means about, про вас. Another form of we is вам. And it can be used with prepositions, for example, к, to, к вам, or even without any prepositions. For example, спасибо вам. Thank you. Another form is вами. Вами. It can be used with a preposition, for example, с, with, с вами, or without any prepositions. Examples are пойдем с вами, we will go with you, or let's go with you, and горжусь вами without any prepositions, I am proud of you.
Будь я вашей женой, я бы тоже уехала.
Если бы вы были моей женой, я бы повесился.
It's also important to take into account that these two pronouns, ты and we, also require different forms of possessive pronouns. So, while in a masculine form a possessive pronoun from ты is твой, a possessive pronoun from we will be ваш. In a feminine form, a possessive pronoun from ты is твоя, and a possessive pronoun from we is ваша. In a neuter form, a possessive pronoun from ты is твое, and a possessive pronoun from we is ваши. And finally, in a plural form, a possessive pronoun from ты is твои, and a possessive pronoun from we is ваши. Did you know that a singular polite form we was not used in Russia until the 18th century? So, in fact, an informal ты was addressed to everybody, no matter of their status. So, for example, you could perfectly communicate with Ivan the Terrible using any forms of ты. A formal polite we was introduced in Russian language in 1708 by Peter the Great, as it was seen as a good practice from Europe. You might also notice that some people write we and its other forms with a capital letter. For example, благодарю вас with a capital letter за вашу помощь. It is usually done in official correspondence. It can be addressed only to one person, and you shouldn't write we with a capital letter in order to address to several people.
Дай-ка я тебе перезвоню.
Олег Евгеньевич, здравствуйте.
Привет.
Звонок уже прозвенел. Вы почему не на уроке?
А ты почему не на уроке?
You also need to take into account when using an informal ты or a formal we, which courtesy phrases you are using. So when you address people by ты, it's better to use informal phrases like «привет» instead of a formal «здравствуйте», which you will use when you address people by вы. Another example is an informal «пока» and a formal «до свидания». You can find more of such courtesy phrases in Russian in my previous videos. You also need to choose correctly the verb forms to use with ты and вы. When it is an imperative form, in most cases you just need to add an ending те, for example, извини, which is informal, and извините, formal. Another example, садись or садитесь. Sit down.
Садись, тесь.
Здравствуйте, дети. Я ваш новый учитель литературы Эдуард Кузьмин. Садитесь, пожалуйста. Блин, стойте! Эдуард Васильевич. Садитесь.
As for other different verb forms in past, present and future tenses, well, here you will need to learn a system of verb conjugation, which I will explain you in my future videos.
Олег Евгеньевич.
Ладно, шучу. Нормально выглядишь, Эля.
Эльвира Петровна.
In some contexts, at work, during official meetings, and so on, it is critical to address people by their first and middle names, as well as to use a form «вы» to show respect and to be more polite.
Как вас зовут, да?
Мария меня зовут.
Мария?
Мария.
Маша, садись, пожалуйста. Сейчас
Спасибо,
я
Вова.
отвлеку.
Avoid addressing strangers and people you don't know well just by their first names, as well as using any forms of «ты», because it can be considered impolite and over-friendly.
Он мне Маша, я ему Вова, а что страшного-то? Меня тоже, я, извините, не Маша вообще-то для чужого мужчины. Я всю жизнь с малых лет Мария Дмитриевна. Ну, сказал Маша. Ну, Вова, ему тоже приятно. В 60 лет его Вова кто-то назвал.
Normally, you can switch to «ты» if another person has done it and he or she is not your boss, person in authority, or an elderly person.
Хорошие у тебя подруги.
Разве мы перешли на «ты»?
Давно. Ты не заметила?
In order to avoid any confusion, it is better to ask a permission of another person to switch from «вы» to «ты».
Мы на вашей машине поедем или на моей?
Виктор Петрович, вам не кажется, что мы могли бы перейти на «ты»?
Как скажете. Как скажешь.
Мы могли бы перейти на «ты». Мы могли бы перейти на «ты». Or a simplified version. Может, перейдем на «ты». Может, перейдем на «ты». Or even перейдем на «ты». Перейдем на «ты».
В следующий раз беру тебя с собой.
Спасибо большое. Но на «ты» мы, по-моему, еще не переходили. Так мне показалось.
Так давай перейдем.
Давай перейдем на «ты». Давай перейдем на «ты». Or a more formal version. Давайте перейдем на «ты». Давайте перейдем на «ты».
Девушка, можно на секундочку?
Молодой человек, можно вас?
Да, я вас слушаю.
There are many ways to attract someone's attention in Russian, for example, strangers on the street, service workers, and so on, and it's really important to use them the right way. I wanted to cover this topic in this video, but I understood that there are so many interesting details that it's really deserved to be in one separate video. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, don't forget to like it, so that I will know that I should continue making videos like this. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you will never miss any of my videos. I also have an Instagram account where I post some great materials every week. So if you're interested, check a link in the description box. See you next time! Пока-пока!
Thank you.